Welcome back for another episode of the Outdoor Adventure Series podcast, where we celebrate individuals and families, businesses, and organizations that seek out and promote the exploration, stewardship, conservation, access, and enjoyment of the outdoors. I am here, day 7 of this wonderful, unbelievable, I cannot even begin to describe how magnificent this experience was to travel up through Glacier Bay and the Northwest Passage into some of the most pristine waters and natural areas that you could only imagine. Here it is, day 7 already. We have traveled the night up what's called Tracey Arm to South Sawyer Glacier. And I have to tell you, the arm itself was beautiful, but when we got to the glacier, it was unbelievable. And if you've never seen a glacier up close, I highly recommend it. And I am really excited because I want to get their perspective to introduce you to Curtis and Cathy from Manitou Springs, Colorado. They have been my friends here, because I think we're all friends by now, here on the boat that's been taking us from location to location, the Wilderness Discoverer. So first, let me introduce Cathy. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's a great day.
Fantastic. Now, what was exciting about today? I mean, how would you describe today?
Oh, gosh. The glacier was incredible. It really was. We saw a different glacier earlier this week. It was smaller, had more dirt stripes. This one was so deep blue. It was calving. Excuse me. So that was really a unique experience. And then there were so many seals with their pups. And some of them followed us all around. And that was just, I don't know. It's really hard for me to describe it, but it was wonderful.
How did you feel about the various colors of blue? I mean, I can only imagine somebody is so inspired by the blue, they're going to go home and they're going to totally redecorate their house, their home. They've got their new favorite color. What did you think about those colors?
I was surprised at the variance of the colors in the glaciers. I wasn't expecting that. In a picture, you just kind of see a big white thing. But there were so many different shades, from pure white to navy blue. And I was really surprised by that.
Excellent. Now, Curtis, has this been your first cruise?
Yeah, haven't been on a cruise for probably 30 years. Actually, 40 years. And this, the one we went on before was a rather large boat. And it was down through the Caribbean, going out of Miami. What I like about this one is it's small. And on any cruise, you can see Alaska. But what I've really enjoyed about this cruise is you really get to experience it. You really get up close to a lot of the beauty, to a lot of the wildlife. And the colors of the granite and the green foliage on them. And I look at some of the ice that's broken off from the glacier, and it looks like something an artist would do by blowing glass. I mean, the structure of it, the texture in it, the different colors of blue. It's amazing.
And what was the experience today out on the skiff?
It was a lot of fun. We got to see, like Cathy said, we got to see the pups, the sills. The water was calm. The weather was nice. We got to do shots of schnapps off a piece of ice. So that was really fun. Got up very, very close to a magnificent waterfall. So it was a lot of fun. I understand this afternoon some people kind of got trapped in the ice, but we were the first boat out, so we were pretty fortunate.
Yes, we were fortunate. But what we also saw from this crew, one is how highly trained they are in what they do for a living, which is helping to navigate people like us throughout some very magnificent areas, but there's always a safety element to it.
Right.
And like clockwork, the folks for our listeners, there was a little bit of calving going on later on in the morning. A couple of the skiffs kind of were blocked in by the ice, and then a couple of the other together, there were 2 skiffs, and they were doing their best to free themselves, but then they had a couple other skiffs come out, and like clockwork, they got everybody back safe and sound and in time for lunch. So,
The
I mean,
important thing.
that's the important thing. And by the way, the chef is doing a bang out job. Today we had bison chili, which there was and for vegetarians there was a vegetarian 3-bean chili. But Mary Esther, who's been one of my stewards on this trip, she was gracious enough to finagle a second bowl of bison chili for me. So I was really very happy. So, Cathy, as far as this trip is concerned, how did this idea come about that, hey, let's take a cruise, let's go to Alaska, let's find a boat we can go on? How did you begin to do your research, and how did you end up on Cruise Adventures?
It was all Curtis.
Curtis, this was all you?
Well, Cathy, she had her knee replaced in January, and last summer it was really bothering her to the point where we really couldn't do a heck of a lot in Colorado or really much traveling at all. And so her knee repair went very, very well. And I've always wanted to go to Alaska. I've never talked to anyone who's been here who didn't enjoy it. And so we were just sitting around maybe 6 weeks before this cruise, and I started looking at the different options. I knew I wanted a smaller ship. I knew I wanted something that would allow me to experience Alaska, not just see it. And UnCruise came up. The reviews were great. The itinerary looked great. The fact that we got to actually spend a night in Glacier Bay, which I think is unique to this particular boat because of the licensing that you need. And so that's what sold us on it.
Okay. Now, as far as the activities, I mean, obviously, Chris just shared you have had knee surgery. How have you been faring with some of the activities out here in this 7-day experience?
Well, I'm due for a second knee replacement, the left one in September. So I did not do any of the shore walks or what are they called? The bushwhacking. I didn't do any of those because my knee can just collapse. But I kayaked all over. I rode the skiffs all over. And I had a great time. If there was something going on, I was going.
Excellent. And when you were out there kayaking, what did you enjoy most about that?
It's so peaceful, working together and getting a really close-up look. We did like the solo kayak where you weren't guided at all. You just went where you wanted to go. So you could go really close to a waterfall. I loved that.
We were there to do just
So
or do a cover.
So you being out there on the kayaks, and I totally appreciate that. This was really my first, well, actually my second kayak experience. The last one was like 12 years ago. And I was I mean, if you haven't done something in a long time, especially as we get older, there's a little bit of a fear factor. And what I love is that I was able to ease in. And in fact, being single and by myself here on the cruise, one of the stewards, Taylor, was my partner on the kayak, and she actually drove it with the paddles because I couldn't fit in there. But it was just a wonderful experience. And as you were just sharing, going out on the guided kayaking, I went out with another guest who was just going her husband was doing something else, and it was just a wonderful experience getting so close to the waterfalls. What do you think about the overall the food selection and the variety? How do you feel about what we have been served so far?
I've been really happy with it. I've done all the different things. I've done the vegan, I've done the fish, I've done the meat options. Breakfast has been fat. I mean, I've done all the choices and I've been pleased with everything. I like that the portions aren't so huge. You don't end up with a bunch of leftover food. I like that there's dessert with every meal, but just a little, not like a restaurant-sized portion where it's overwhelming. I've been really happy.
Is there one meal that has stood out for you?
I loved the shrimp last night. I thought that was really good.
Excellent. And I know we have prime rib tonight and coho salmon. I live in Las Vegas. I can go for prime rib at a lot of different places, so I'm going to have the coho salmon. What are you going to have tonight, Curtis?
I'm going to have the prime rib. I I just I'm not a big fan of salmon. The good news is at every meal, except for there was one lunch where I had a salad and didn't have a choice to get a protein on it. But other than that, it's been really good. The fact that I don't like salmon and I can get prime rib is great.
That is actually very good. Speaking of the salads, there's three couples out here on this ship in this excursion, and they are all vegans, so they have very prescriptive eating habits. And what I love about this cruise line, UnCruise Adventures, is they can accommodate folks with a variety of eating preferences. And so that's been great. And I agree with you, Cathy. The portions are like perfect. We're not getting overstuffed, and they are taking good care of it. Well, how about perhaps the next most important topic, the bar?
The bar. Sean is a great bartender. He's very kind. Gets me my Diet Coke every morning. Makes good drinks of the day. I haven't tried them all, but the ones I've tried have been great.
And Curtis, what have you been imbibing in?
Yeah. He's a mixologist. He is really, really good at making cocktails. He's very, very creative. And one of the ones we had was, what was it, a jalapeno martini? No, margarita. And you think of that and you go, God, what's that going to taste like? Tasted fabulous. I mean, everything he's made has been outstanding. I was telling him that he needs to put a book together with all of his drinks in it, and he would sell millions of them. He's very, very good. Good bar.
Excellent. And I think the one I liked was it had the blueberry puree mojito. That was my personal favorite.
Ooh,
They've all been good. They're deadly.
Deadly.
They're deadly because you do not taste the alcohol. Deadly. No taste of alcohol.
So as you get back to Colorado, you're going to take care of your other knee and it comes later on this year. If you have friends, family who are contemplating Alaska, what would be the insight you'd like to share with them about why they should consider UnCruise Adventures?
Well, I think the size of the boat, and that you get into places other companies don't get. It was really neat when we'd be in a place tucked away, but we could still see the main channel and to see those giant cruise ships just going by, not able to stop because there were whales in the middle of the bay and they would just keep going. Whereas our captain would slow down, stop, we'd stay and watch. It was just a really unique experience. And you get to see things most people don't see. We didn't go to any little tourist towns.
We just dropped anchor, which was great. And I think if you just want to see Alaska, if you just want to look out your window, you can go on any cruise line and do that. But if you really want to experience it, I think you need to be in a smaller boat. The crew is very, very experienced, very knowledgeable. So even though you're getting out there into the backcountry or you're out there on a kayak and there's wells, you feel safe because of their expertise, and they want to make sure that you enjoy it, but they want to make sure that you enjoy it in a safe way, and they accomplish that.
Well said. On that note, I want to thank you both again, one for your friendship over the past week.
It's been fun.
I
want your pictures. I really want your pictures.
I will get you the pictures. I will
Thank
get you.
you.
And it's been a pleasure to get to know you both, and I hope, what I love about this ship is new friendships get made, and I hope
that's one of the best parts. One of the best parts about this ship is it's small. The people are absolutely wonderful. I mean, it's just a very interesting, good group of folks.
Well, and I wouldn't, like if I was single or he couldn't go and I really wanted to go, this size of ship and the way the dining is set up, you're not like a single person. Everybody's friendly and you sit
You're
with
just part of the group.
Yeah, and it was really nice.
Very good. Well, listen, thank you again, and
Sure.
I look forward to sharing the photos with you.
Awesome.
I'm sure one or two are going to come out, but I look forward to sharing this episode with our listeners, and wish you the very best and good health. Hopefully, the knee is going to be in a condition you'll be going on your next UnCruise adventure. So, thank you again.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, folks, we're just going to take a quick break. We're going to go find another couple to interview or perhaps even one of the crew. But wherever we're going, we're going to have some fun and have some great conversation. To learn more about UnCruise Adventures, visit their website at uncruise.com. You can also learn more on their social sites, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. If you enjoy podcasts devoted to outdoor adventure, find us online at outdooradventureseries.com. And remember, we welcome likes, comments, and sharing. You can also find us on our Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube pages by searching for Outdoor Adventure Series. And you can also find us on all of the leading podcast platforms. All the links that we mentioned just now can be found in our show notes for this episode. And until next time, we look forward to having you join us for a new episode of the Outdoor Adventure Series podcast. Take care now.